Look at that! Oh my goodness.
Hello. So this week I want to learn to draw with a pen. So I already kind of know how to draw.
Nope.
And whilst it's been a minute, I kind of see it like riding a bike. Okay, maybe not. So using this chunky pencil, which I actually think is a builder's pencil, I got to test my drawing skills from some of the things laying around the living room. And despite it being a number of years, I was actually pretty pleased. So then it was time for the pen. And aside from seeing this crazy video of a person drawing two images at the same time like a printer, which is just insane to think about, I have no idea how to draw with a pen. So on my way to drawing this final masterpiece of one of my favourite footballers, which I can't wait to show you by the way, I started with what I thought was the easiest thing to draw with a pen, a circle. And it started out okay, but then I ruined it with this paint pen thingy. Sort of looks like a weird snail. So then I attempted to draw a box. Let's draw a box. And to my surprise, it looked kind of good. Although the shadow could have been a little better.
If you squint, it looks alright.
So I think I have the concepts down. The execution, however, I think I need to work on a little. So then I decided to give it a little Google and see what kind of drawings were made using a pen. And holy cow, these are insane. Look at that, it's like a real life blue baby. And because my goal was to draw a footballer, which is a human like those crazy pen drawings, I continued to search for something a little bit more manageable that I could maybe copy. And that's when I came across this real life looking eye. Okay, I know that this is freaking brilliant and way out of my league, but this makes perfect sense to me. I can see every single line that the person has drawn, which means I can copy them. And if there's one little thing that I'm good at, is copying things. So that's what I did. And using a pen to draw the outline of the eye, I began. And line by line, I spent the next 9 hours, yes, 9 hours, essentially copying this eye drawing, turning my head every second just to make sure I didn't miss a pen stroke. And it taught me a lot. Firstly, seeing how to do a detailed reflection in the eye, using the white of the paper to actually create more depth to the iris. Also how to shade certain areas with smooth and consistent strokes, following the natural contours to give that sense of shape and definition. And finally, how to leave areas clean and untouched. And it's those areas that represent the highlights, similar to the eye reflection. And this would be a lesson I'd need to learn in the next image, but we'll get to that. So as the eye started to take shape and nearing the end of day one, I could already see that this, by a country mile, was the best drawing I'd ever done. Wow, I just freaking drew an eye. It's the best drawing I've ever done.
Look at that! Oh my goodness. There's that person's eye, and there's my eye.
And because it wasn't fully complete, I came back the next day to finish the last details of the drawing.
I think I'm done. I could do more, but I think I need to move on to other drawings, otherwise this would be a video about drawing an eye, and that's not what the video is about.
So with confidence high, I then decided it was time to take that leap, and without copying anyone else's drawing, I would attempt to draw my favourite footballer using the techniques I learned from the eye drawing. And I can't tell you who it is just yet, because you're gonna have to follow along. Still, at this point I didn't really understand if it was acceptable to use a pencil to get the framework in place. So like before, I sketched the rough shape of the image with a pen. And it started rather well. Once I got the overall outline, I began by detailing out the eyes, which I was pretty happy with. That was until I got to the nose. And I don't know why, but I've always struggled with noses. But I mean, it was looking like a nose. That was until I decided to go to town with the shading in. And I didn't realise I was doing it too dark until my wife came in and said, the nose looks a little dark. And being already 3 hours in at this point, I decided I'd continue to build out the face. I mean, I was pretty happy at this point. But to ensure he didn't look like he'd been fighting frostbite for a good couple of years, I knew that I had to match the rest of the face with the same darkness as the nose, but I didn't really know how to do that. And a combination of being completely new to drawing with a pen and being tired, I just went to town with the shading in hopes that it would turn into something good. It just looks terrible. I mean, the bones are good and it sort of looks like him. If you know who it is at this point, pause the video and write down in the comments. And because I didn't think I could rescue it, I decided to scrap the 7 hours I spent drawing it and start again.
I didn't really screw that up.
But first, I took a couple of days off to really understand the concepts of drawing with a pen. And after watching a bunch of tutorials, not only did I learn some handy tips for myself, but I also decided I was going to have to copy someone else again. But wait, this time I was actually going to use a pencil drawing alongside the actual image of the footballer. That way it wouldn't be a straight up copy job like it was before, but also I wouldn't be left up to my own devices, which is good. So back to the tips. Well, the first one was pretty simple, to use a pencil to build out the framework of the drawing. I know. And this was a lot harder than I was expecting, by the way. But after 1 hour, it was now time to put pen to paper. So the second tip is to start with the darkest part of the images and to build out from there, using the previously drawn construction lines as a guide. And the third tip, to use single strokes with the pen in the natural direction of the human face and not the zigzag approach I was using beforehand. And the fourth tip, to use layers, soft delicate touches and a crosshatch motion over time will build up the intensity of the shading, allowing you to control the fade a lot easier. And the fifth and final tip, to take your time, like really take your time. Obviously you're watching a time lapse, but this right here is 10 hours of drawing over 3 days. And nearing the end, seeing the drawing starting to take shape, I was in this weird state of being insanely tired, but also incredibly focused. And after 4 weeks of what seemed like non-stop drawing, I'd finally completed the drawing I set out to complete. I'm done. I am done. It's literally the best drawing I've ever drawn in my life. This is so cool. I'm gonna hang this up on my wall. So good. Maybe I'll send it to one of you. Comment down in the description your favorite footballer of all time, and I'll choose one of them and send this drawing to you. I think that would be so cool. That would be so cool. Guys, if you enjoyed this journey, go check out the journey right here of me learning to skateboard, because I think you'll enjoy that almost as much as this particular challenge. Thanks for being here. See you soon.